Hi, everybody. We're talking to Mary Blank DiCaprio about her journey on the Metabolic Body Reset. Um, Mary started the program in September, completed it a few weeks ago. And when you started the program, from start to finish, you dropped 24.8 pounds
Yes.
in that 6 weeks, which is very nice and very good. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh my gosh. At a point of desperation, really not sure what else I could possibly do, struggling with, the onsets of early menopause and all kinds of stuff, and just nothing I did in spite of, I tried keto, which threw me into a gallbladder attack last year, and I ended up with my gallbladder out. So that was even sensitive. I've always been sensitive to carbs. I've tried pretty much everything under the sun. And then I had a fortunate visit from another client of yours who visited my store and told me that she was, she knew my struggles as well. And so when she came to me and she's like, I just feel like I need to share this. I was, of course, wildly cynical because I've done everything. And so why would this be any different? The program seems similar to something I've done in the past, which was like a 40-day plan. And then it was supposed to be a maintenance issue. And I made it through the 40-day plan. I'm pretty disciplined when it comes to a program. I figure if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be completely committed. But then I hit maintenance and my expectation was blown because just as with the metabolic reset, you're supposed to stay within, around the same set point, so to speak. And
Right.
It did not work. I'm not really sure why this was different. And during the program, it was very much a security blanket for me because I knew what I was to eat. I knew what I was supposed to do. Of course, water fluctuations make me crazy, but that's just how I'm built. And I struggled with that, but you coached me through that. But then I hit maintenance, and that was probably my biggest concern. And of course, I had my birthday 1 week before I was to be finished. And so I went into the following week thinking, yay, I'm going to, cheat and do everything, and enjoy my birthday the following weekend, which I did to a certain degree, but found a lot of the things that I had wanted to eat just really weren't agreeing with me.
Okay.
And I think the thing that has pleased me the most is having your guidance. And even on the maintenance, I've actually been able to maintain, and I've lost like another 1.5 pounds, which is okay with me too. I've enjoyed some wine in the meantime. It's been nice to not have to be so, to still, like, the foods that I've eaten for the 6 weeks are like my comfort zone. I don't know. Like, I like eating those foods, and it just makes me feel better. I'm so thankful for it. I have a retail store, and it's holidays, and I'm working lots and lots of, I don't know, especially as I've gotten older, the energy that's required to work this holiday season and be on my feet. I've done 5 miles at the jewelry store the last couple of weeks with Black Friday and everything. And I get home, I thank God to not have those 25 extra pounds on me. I don't know that I could have done it, truly.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you because you took time out in a very, very busy season. I thought you guys were closed on Sunday, but you're not because of thank you very much for taking the time out to do this. And if anybody's listening, anybody's near Elwood City, Pennsylvania, Blocker Jewelers, right?
That's it, Blocker Jewelers. I think I even have my shirt on. I don't know. Maybe.
There you go.
like my uniform or something. I don't know. I got home from work today and still put on my Blocker Jewelers shirt. Something's wrong with that.
It's your life. It's your job.
It's my life. It is my life. Yeah.
So if anybody, I forgot to say this at the beginning, if anybody has any questions while we're talking, just write them in the comments. I'll keep my eyes. You'll see my eyes going all over the place. I got different screens up so I can see different things. But overall, Mary, you talked about the food and how it's your comfort food.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how is it your comfort food? If that makes any sense.
One, I love that this program has fruit because I love fruit. So when you take, I don't know, it's very doable. It's very easy. I love a science, so give me a science. You tell me 4 ounces of protein, 4 ounces of veggies. I mean, you can eat tons of veggies. And then of course your fruit. And I mean, we went through it together. I found out that, of course, during apple season, and I love apples, that my body does not like apples. So, okay, no apples, but the foods my body loves, my body actually likes red meat. It likes steak. And, I think with any diet, when you're watching, you're talking about all your lean meats, your chicken and stuff. And I've done that forever, so maybe my body was happy to have something a little bit different, have a little bit red meat. Cabbage, loved the cabbage. I mean, it was awesome. I've made some great dishes with cabbage and soup and ground beef. And I didn't do a whole lot of fish, but I'm not a big fish eater. But I would do chicken, I would do steak, I would do ground meat. And some of my favorites that I found were the riced cauliflower. I would buy like steamer bags. They have it at Costco, and you'd have like, they have those. So you could do that. And I just, the best part of it was being prepared. Like I would pull out my little snack bags of food for lunch. And if I was still at work for dinner, I would take those, and that's what I would take to work. And I'd open them all up, put them on a plate, and look pretty, and it was good. But, snack bags, definitely the way to go. And they really are like 4 ounces. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Some of my favorites, just strawberries with fresh cinnamon, grapefruit under the broiler with cinnamon. Love that as well. Oranges, always great. Vegetables, butternut squash, steamer bags as well. Love that.
So you weren't locked into like, here's your menu plan for day one, because a lot of people don't know what we're talking about in the form of.
Oh, okay.
You're allowed protein, you're allowed vegetables, and you're allowed fruit, and then you're allowed free vegetables. But there's no, like, within those categories, you can do whatever you want for variety. And it sounds like you did.
I did. I kind of tried different things. Did green beans. Did like I said, the squash, which actually kind of scared me because I wasn't so sure. And in the past, I've had like some zucchini and stuff, and my body didn't really care for it in previous programs. So it was a shock to see that was okay. Salads were great. I didn't dive a whole lot into salads, just and fancy dressings and everything. Like, to me, I was pretty happy with just like spices on steamed vegetables, and they tasted pretty good. Tomatoes are an awesome thing to cook with because, it adds flavor and everything. And those little cans of like tomatoes with chilies and stuff, you can add that to ground beef. I'd make big pots of that with like cabbage and make it like a soup. So it was good. Like, it was a lot of food. Like, there'd be times when I'm like, oh my gosh, I would take like a ground beef thing and I'd put it over the riced cauliflower, and it was a lot to eat, but it filled me up and it was good. And I wasn't really hungry. My biggest issues in the past have been time you get to night, and that's when I would drink herbal tea, which I loved. It's kind of like the go-to.
Awesome. So how did you have any changes in energy during the program?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Changes in energy, changes in, wanting to do things. I'm still not where I want to be. Obviously, I plan to do another round, but not until after the holidays.
Absolutely.
Just happy to be maintaining, and so much different. So it's always such a good feeling, especially I've always battled my weight. So to get to this age and I was just so uncomfortable. I can't say it enough. I was just so uncomfortable. Like, even just putting my shoes on, which that has never been an issue for me. I was truly at the heaviest I've ever been. So I was slightly desperate. And as I asked you questions,
Mhm.
a ton of questions before I started and committed to it. And I told you, I'll do what I'm supposed to do, but you got to help me get through maintenance.
And you're doing good on maintenance, right?
Yeah, I am, surprisingly, with Thanksgiving and everything. And
Yeah.
I mean, I sound like I drink a lot, but really and truly, just to have that glass of wine or whatever on the weekends, it's just it's my pleasure. And that is one thing I miss doing it, but I didn't allow myself to do it. And then when maintenance came, I looked to see, and I love myself a little glass of red wine or white wine or something, and
Yeah.
I'm good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you said, I think at some point I saw in one of the questions that I had asked you, you had talked about like less knee pain, less.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you. My knee was bugging me every time. Doing stairs was miserable. I've been having issues with my one foot. That is much better. And I'm not like in tennis shoes every day. Like I'm in dress shoes, and I try to find the most comfortable ones there are to be on my feet and do 5 miles in during the day. But that's why I say I could not have done this. Like just carrying things up and down stairs, my knee was killing me before. My back, everything.
Right. And it's better now.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm
Awesome.
sure it's going to even be better
Awesome.
come
So,
the new year.
you know, your experience during the program, how was the support? Like we have a Facebook group that people go on and exchange recipes and exchange ideas and, sort of give each other a high five when they lose 5 pounds.
I have to say, ringing the bell on the Facebook group is probably it's a super exciting moment. I'll be the first to say I'm not a huge Facebooker. So I counted my friend who recommended the program to me.
Right.
We did a lot of chatting. She kind of walked me through some of the things that were good for her. I did check out some of the recipes because you do get a little bit bored and you kind of go on to see if there's some other combination that you can put together that would be great. But the best part for me was truly your support to, because there were many moments where I'd be frustrated and be like, oh, it's not. The craziest thing was I would lose on the weekends, but not during the week, probably because my stress level was up with work,
Right.
trying to get ready for the retail holiday season. And then we get to the weekends and I'd be like, nothing's happened all week. And then here I am on the weekend and, then I'd lose my 3 or 4 pounds. So I'm like, wait, what just happened? This is backwards for me, and your support to get me through the weeks. And even now in maintenance, like today I was up a little bit and I found that if I just flush my world with water on that day that I'm up, it tends to go back down, but it is not a steady line down. It is it is definitely up and down.
And I have yet to see a steady line down for anybody. There's always a little jump up.
So that was comforting. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just the way your body works in the losing weight process. So one of the other things that you had checked off on the questionnaire that I asked you at the end of the program, decreased headaches.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think, I'm not really sure why, but I know in the past, my headaches would just be, there's nothing like trying to function in the day with a bad headache. So for me, to not have that to deal with, that was fantastic. Certainly not some of the migraine situations that I've had. I can't say enough for that part of it alone, just because I can't function with a bad headache. It's just, and I can't think. So, and I don't think I took any Advil or I really didn't take much of any of that at all. maybe one time when I had to do, I was doing something crazy around here and my body was just killing me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel so like such a wimp because my every muscle was hurting just decorating the other day. I'm like, oh, holy ab muscles. What is that? But yeah, I don't have the need to take the Advil that I did before. Like the
Awesome.
knee pain, the foot pain, all of that definitely minimalized.
Awesome. And you also noted that you had better clarity of thought.
Thank God. Yeah. Um, Especially trying to run a business and this being my busy season, trying to get the plans and everything together, more decisiveness, not so much back and forth, ability to make decisions. And I think that all comes along with the energy level too. And I think also some confidence, I think it helps with self-esteem, obviously,
Mhm.
if you're feeling better about yourself. And when I changed my wardrobe over from September to October, from summer to winter, and you put those pants on and now you put them on, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. I guess I need to buy something. So it's nice to feel that comfort come back into the clothes that you put on, not feeling like you're stuffed in them.
Well, have you have other people started to notice?
Yeah, I've had some nice remarks, especially from my
That was a
customers.
nice big smile on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had nice comments from my customers. I've had a great support system. My people at work, they'd cheer me on. I'd go in and I'd report. I'm like, okay, I'm here, and I've lost this, and even now, if I'm doing something that seems to be off plan, they'll be like,
Mhm.
"Are you allowed to eat that?" So. People are still looking out for me because I think they've also noticed the difference and noticed just my change in attitude. It's even helped, at home.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so your results, you also lost or got rid of, I'll say, 4.5 inches from your waist, or excuse me, 4.5 inches from your hips and 2 inches from your waist. So how are your clothes doing?
It's so much nicer. I feel like it's still shifting too for some reason because I'm pear shaped. There's no doubt about it. But I was at a point where for the first time I actually had a gut like that was driving me crazy. It was like I said, to be immobile, and I've always been a big exercise person, and so the no exercise on this was a little bit different. I mean, I'm still a pretty active person. I
Mhm.
just wasn't working out like I was.
But when you were working out, you weren't losing the weight.
Right. I was not. And that's frustrating too. I mean, especially I've always loved working out just from the energy standpoint, just because it makes you feel better. Makes you feel better about yourself. But when you step on the scale and there's no difference, it's frustrating. And that's why I say I was truly lost. I really didn't know what else I could do at this point because not the exercise, not changing the foods, not even just the low carb portion of everything. That it was always the way I had eaten. Like I just didn't eat a whole lot of carbs, but nothing was changing. That's why I was so skeptical when I started. A
So
lot has to be different.
how's this transition to maintenance go?
It was. I think the best part is because I experienced the success on the plan that I did. The the first couple days and up in the quantity of food, I'm like, I don't know if I can eat all this. Like this is a lot of food, and I'm guilty. I don't even know that I'm tracking the number of calories that I'm supposed to be eating. I'm just eating what I'm comfortable with.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's right or wrong,
No,
but
that's right.
based on what I should be eating, sorry,
Oh, that's all right.
based on what I should be eating, I don't know. I just eat what I'm comfortable with. One of the things that I have found that if I am going to eat something different, I eat it with my regular food. Like I don't eat I still eat. I didn't incorporate breakfast back in because it really wasn't that important to me. And for years, you know, they say, oh, it's the most important meal. But at the same time, the whole, what's the intermittent fasting kind of thing. I've always had black coffee, so it wasn't a big deal for me. So I drink my coffee in the morning. And by the time I get to lunch, you know, I'm hungry. And if I'm going to eat something different or I'm going to incorporate it into there, I just eat it with my regular food that my body's used to, and I think it kind of hides it or something.
So that's awesome though. That's awesome. So, you know, have you reincorporated any exercise back in, or just the holidays are enough exercise for you?
Right now, the holidays are enough exercise right now. I mean, I probably will eventually, because I love to walk and exercise and do all that fun stuff. Plus, I just think from a strength aspect, I think it's important.
Yeah, it's very important to add that back in. But for those who don't know, what the program does and what we do is we try not to incorporate any added exercise. So if you're doing some, like walking, things like that, you can absolutely keep it up. But so you were happy with your results. You had, let's see, positive comments, increased motivation, decreased need for caffeine, decreased need to snack. Overall, how'd you like the program?
I really liked it. And it was, I don't know, I thought it was easy. Not easy necessarily getting started in it and knowing exactly what, uh-oh,
What happened?
hold on, sorry, coming
No.
back, I hope.
No, you're still here.
Am I?
Yep.
Oh, well, it took it. At least you can still see me. I can't see you.
Okay.
But I think for me it was easy just because it was a science, and I was just happy to follow that science and do what I needed to do. Food prepping was a big part of it. So with food prepped, I mean, it was really just as simple as taking the food to work or do whatever I needed to do. The one night I knew I wasn't going to be home, I took what I could take and I ate in my car before I had some appointment somewhere. And, you know, you kind of feel like a stranger, but, you know, I'm like, hey, listen, it's my time to eat. And you just really have to prioritize it. You know, eliminating those things that didn't work with my program and maybe from a social aspect, it limited me a little bit. I was a little nervous about eating out, but once I got the hang of that, like I just ate what I could eat off the program. It's hard. Some restaurants are great about making accommodations, you know, and following it. But to me, it was worth it to speak up and say, prepare it with no butter, prepare it with no oils or anything. You can do seasonings, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, I guess, because once you are in it and you're seeing the change, it makes it all worthwhile. So
When you see
I thought it was great. I mean, I'm definitely going to do it again. I don't know what to anticipate for success the second time around, but I'm excited for those load days, I think. And then I'm excited to get back on the wheel, you know?
So those load days Mary talked about are you have to eat a lot of food in the first 2 days of the program. And it's a lot of food. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you do. It's a bizarre science, but it works. I can't say enough about it. The energy, the sleep's a big thing.
How'd that change?
Well, one, I wasn't sore when I woke up in the morning, and two, I was sound asleep. You know, I can say maybe not like as many hot flashes as I'm entering that whole portion, and it wasn't all the time, but it was occasional, and so that's kind of really subsided.
Awesome.
just the energy aspect alone, I'm so thankful.
Awesome. So if somebody's sitting on the fence about to do this program or not to do this program, what would you have to say to them? Now I may have lost you. Mary, can you still hear us? Well, whoever's watching, if you have any questions, please just type them in the comments while we try to get Mary back. I will very quickly say to Mary, there
I'm
you go.
here. I'm here. My computer totally died on me. I had to go plug in.
I was gonna say that's a complete change of background. All of a sudden.
Oh yeah, that was no, I'm like, what just happened? I'm
Well,
sorry.
I'm gonna take a minute because when I was looking down at the comments while you were changing the screens, I gotta say hi to my kids because they're both watching. Sydney and Ryan, hi.
Hi.
So what I asked you was if somebody's sitting on the fence about doing the program, not doing the program, what would you have to say to them?
Don't second guess it. Just do what you're supposed to do and it will work. And this is coming. This is so funny because I was such the skeptic. I'm like, okay, well, we'll try it. I mean, it's 6 weeks of my life. I can do this, whatever it is. So just to have the results, I'm just so thankful.
And you, I remember we had a phone call.
We had a few.
Quite a conversation. Yeah, a couple of them actually. You're right. So what we do, if anybody's sitting on the fence, anybody has any questions, would this work for me? Would it not work for me? On our website, metabolicbodyreset.com, there's a button. Just click it. You pull up the schedule. You pick a time to call. I'll call you and we'll talk about it. So
you were a big part of the program, honestly. I mean, for me to have that support, especially for somebody who was just really so skeptical about it, I so appreciated you being available on those mornings of panic when nothing was happening. And I'm like, here we go. You know, it's going to happen again. And, you know, God bless you.
Positive mindset.
Panic, like, this is not going to work.
and you got to understand, Mary and I are sitting 300 miles apart doing this. And when she program and you know, everything was done remotely, so it works remotely. I appreciate the interaction between clients and myself because it's very important to know what's going on with you. The positive mindset is extremely important, not to get down on yourself when the scale doesn't move one day or ticks up a half a pound, because just your body's way of hold on, then I'll let go. Hold on, then I'll let go.
What did I tell you last week? Like one day my body jumped up like 5 pounds or jumped up like 3 pounds. And then I dropped 5 pounds like the next day. So I was down 1.5 pounds from where I was. I'm like, who does this? This is ridiculous.
And everybody's different.
Drink water. I'm like, okay, I'm drinking water.
Everybody's different. And so when you were eating out, you know, that whole mindset of I can make these changes and I can ask for the food I want versus what is exactly on the menu, works very well. And I talk about this when I do workshops about this program: mindset, nutrition, picking good quality stuff and quantity, and then stress reduction. And stress reduction comes when you see the scale moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So who would you recommend this program to?
Oh God, anybody who wants to feel better. I will say feeling better is the majority of it. Aside from the weight loss, there are so many plans that, you know, oh well, it's not always on the scale. Well, for me, I want to see it on the scale too. I mean, I want to see the inches. I want to see the changes on the scale. For somebody who can make that commitment, it's 6 weeks of your life, and you will find that it teaches you a new way of eating. So it's not hard. Buy yourself a box of snack bags, cut some stuff up one day and stick it in your freezer and just use it, and I knew when my stash was running low and I'd have to make some new foods, but I'm not real inventive with the foods, and I don't mind eating the same stuff, for the most part. I mean, sometimes it gets boring, but that's when you just look at the Facebook page and you try to find something new that you like. But I really think anybody could do it. I mean, I've told my son about it, who I know is struggling as well, and he just needs to make that commitment as well. Nobody can make that commitment but yourself. And when you are at a point where you're desperate and you don't want to feel like that anymore, it's good. I mean, it's good. It's good for you.
And it's sustainable.
It's sustainable.
Yep.
Yes, it's not a crazy diet. It's not a bunch of pills and vitamins and supplements and everything like that. It's just good food.
Nice.
It's
Yep.
good food. And there's plenty of food. I mean, if you're still hungry, I mean, there's plenty of vegetables you can eat on that plan. More than I had anticipated.
Yeah.
You know.
There's plenty of free vegetables to fill up on. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can jazz up all kinds of things with spices and whatnot. And I'm kind of a salty right now. I don't know what it is. Like, I was always a sweetie. Like, I like the sweet foods, but kind of drew away from that. And I don't know. I love me some salt right now. Like, that's what I use.
Let me ask you this, because a lot of people have mentioned this when I've talked to them after the 6 weeks. Did your taste buds change?
Oh yeah. Yeah. You told me they would. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. No, they did.
Yeah, you definitely know the difference between good food and bad and highly processed, and yeah.
Oh yeah, that is an understatement. Like, you just don't want the junk. And you know what I thought? Like, I loved my dairy, but maybe my dairy didn't love me. And when I did keto, of course, there was so much heavy whipping cream and butters and everything like that. And I loved that portion of it, but I don't think it agreed with me. And when you think about what your body has to process, and especially once I got my gallbladder out, all that makes it tougher. You kind of just get a new resolve or a new mindset so that you don't have to, I don't know, you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't think about it in between, or like, oh my gosh, what's the next thing I'm going to eat? I was at a point where I really didn't know what to eat anymore. I had kind of given up to say, well, what's the difference? Anything I eat is going to make me gain weight. And it was kind of a hopeless situation. So to actually have some sort of guidance as to maybe what I should be eating and having it taste good, I was like, okay. And maybe that part of it too, just knowing what I had to eat, took the stress away from me of having to figure out. I debated doing it during the holidays just because it is a hard time to make the food part a priority for me, but I find I still do. I just, if I want to have that glass of wine, or if I want to incorporate, something that's not on the plan into it, I don't have to feel so badly about it. And then I just watch my weight every day. And if something's reacted, I just go back to square one.
You start to notice how little changes in your food, like it'll jump.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what agrees.
And sometimes it takes 2 days to show on my scale. Like, it might not be the very next day. Like, someday I'll be getting on. It does take a little getting used to, like, every day. I think the maintenance phase of getting on the scale is much easier than the weight loss phase. Like, in the maintenance phase, you're like, okay, it's good. It's still there because you're not looking for that loss. Like, I'm just so darn happy to be maintaining. So really, it's a good thing. And that was the scariest part for me.
What, you are about 4 weeks post at this point.
Yeah.
You're about 10 weeks out.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. And just still locked in right there, which is awesome, which is exactly what we wanted to do.
I'll let
And
you
then-
know tomorrow morning.
And then we'll get you ready for the next round come the new year. Everybody's New Year's resolution is always, and yeah,
I'm making the list of foods that I think I'm going to just indulge in.
as I've been telling people, December 31st and January 1st are the first 2 days. It's the easiest 2 days to get that
Not
quality.
bad, though. I think because I've seen this success, like I just don't want to sabotage myself. So that's going to be a mind wrap for me to try to eat those foods.
It's
I
extreme.
will, but like the whole time I know myself, I'll be thinking, ugh, I don't even want to see the scale tomorrow because I know what it'll do to me versus the comfort zone of where I've been.
And you have to get on the loading days, you have to get over that because it's absolutely necessary to load. Yeah, again.
Just remember to repeat that.
Now, what I have two last things. One, you said about your son, but you're right. You have to be the person who's doing it has to be in the mindset that it's for me. I want to do this.
Mhm.
I'm not for anybody else. And just the last thing I'm going to say is, do you have any parting comments?
If you're thinking about it, I just say give it a try. I mean, it really is just 6 weeks of your life. And if you don't feel absolutely 100% better in 6 weeks, and this is totally, off the hip. I was truly miserable. I was truly at a desperate place. So I'm really happy.
Awesome.
And I'm glad I did it.
Awesome. Well, we'll give one more shout out to Blocker Jewelers in Elwood City, Pennsylvania.
Open 7 days a week.
We'll get you through the holidays and we'll get you back again. The other thing I always forget to mention is when I do these videos is sometimes this can be covered by an HSA or an FSA account, and we're getting towards the end of the year, so people have to use those. And then our website is metabolicbodyreset.com, and there's a ton of information, a lot of interviews in there, a lot of comments from clients. Go to the website. I'll post the link down below and then take a look at it. And Mary, I just want to thank you for your time because I know you're super busy.
It's my pleasure. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the girl who works for me, she's my marketing guru, and she loves for me to do Facebook Live. And trust me when I would say it's a real battle for me to want to go on Facebook Live. First of all, from the serious aspect, I truly struggle with it. But most of all, because I just really didn't want to see myself on camera. And even that's changed a little bit. Like I was a little bit like, okay, well, let's check it out. I'm like, oh, you got my hips in there. Like, but then I look back, and at the one point you said, go back and look at the picture you took, at the beginning before you started this. And then I'm like, he's right again. Okay. But it was interesting to see the change even in myself, and not so horrified to have to see it, but still hoping and looking for more change.
Awesome.
Better.
Awesome. You did wonderful. Congratulations.
No, thanks for your help.
Enjoy the holidays. I'll be in touch throughout the next 2 or 3 weeks before we get to the next round. And
you're truly a rarity, because I've done doctor monitored programs before, so I have to give you props, because without your support, I truly say that made the difference for me. Not that the Facebook group isn't great, but you're great.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time. And
your wife and I share a birthday, so
yeah, exactly.
It's all good stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, have a good night.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the week at work.
I'll be there. Absolutely. If you're in the area again, stop and see me.
Definitely will next time we're out that way. All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.